Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming my June wrap-up. Not a lot of books in this wrap-up, so let's just jump right into it. First, let's start out with the sci-fi books that I read in June. Also, I feel like I should go ahead and mention I am filming before I go into work, so I'm wearing scrubs right now. I'm trying to film really quickly before my roommate gets back from the grocery store. But anyway, I read Leviathan Wakes by James A. Corey. I know that it's actually written by like two people, right? And one of them is like George R.R. Martin's editor or something. Anyway, I did think this book was good. I did really like it. I just felt like it wasn't really my thing. It was just so long, honestly, that I kind of was like, I either felt like I was trudging through it or that I was trying to like read too quickly to get to the end. And I did like the characters, but they're like middle-aged men are the main characters, so they didn't really resonate with me. And I really like reading characters that I relate to, so that was missed for me. So I don't think I'll be continuing the series. I am glad that I did read this book though, but it wasn't my favorite. Then I read the second book in the Onyxia trilogy, Onyxia Unleashed by Scott Reintgen. And I did mention Onyxia in, was it my last month's wrap up? I'm not sure. But just to recap, it's a series about a group of children who are mostly like underprivileged. They're coming from Earth. This company recruits them to travel to a planet like far away from Earth, and the children are sent there to mine a substance called Onyxia. You can control it with your mind. It can become like, it's just like this really cool substance that can do a lot of things. It's like with technology. So that's why they get sent there. There's some kind of agreement that only children can mine Onyxia on the planet with like the indigenous like species that lives there. So the first book, Onyxia, was all about them training on the spaceship before they reach the planet. In Onyxia Unleashed, they reach the planet. And then there's kind of some like political intrigue when they find out more about the company that they are working for, more about the people that lived on the planet, more about their interactions with one another. Kind of just the plot thickens. It's the second book in the trilogy. I'm excited for the third one to see how things finish unfolding. I do really like this book. Just some good YA sci-fi, I think, that touches on some important issues for us here on Earth in modern times. And the last sci-fi book that I read was, it's just the novella, Binti by Nnedi Okorafor, I hope. This is a book, I liked it. I thought it was really good. I know it's like won a lot of awards and I've heard lots of good things about it. I just wish, I mean, it's what, like a little over 100 pages? No, not even 100 pages. My bad. It's like 90 pages. Literally 90 pages. And I wish there was more of it because I do really like the world and I do really like the characters, but the author doesn't get a lot of time to do a lot of world building and exploration into characters and character development just because it is so short. So I just wish there was more of it. I did really like it. Yeah. At this point, it's been a hot minute since I read it, and it is so short that I can't think of a good way to like summarize the plot. I know Binti is our main character. She goes to a university that she has to like, her parents don't want her to go, or her like people don't want her to go. So she gets like estranged when she goes to the university. This other like alien group attacks them. Like a lot of her friends die, and she ends up like befriending or like negotiating with the aliens to save her planet, I think. But then something happens with her, like she biologically changes. I'm doing a really terrible job of this. I'm just gonna stop. It's interesting. If you like sci-fi, it's a really quick, short read. I read it in maybe like an hour or so, probably less than that, let's be real. And it was good. Yep. Now, oh boy, let me just take a sip of coffee before we get into my Shadowhunters reads. When I read, what is the first one? City of Bones? Yes, when I read City of Bones, I started out in my wrap-up being like, oh, I'm going to defend the incest plot line, because the way the first book ends is a lot different from, which is the second one, how City of Ashes goes with that. I didn't like this book because it was just a lot of angst of Jace and Clary fighting feelings for each other when they are siblings. And I liked how the first one kind of tied things up and they were like, ugh, yucky. But then this whole second book, I don't even know what like happens plot-wise, because I was just eaten up with how Jace and Clary were not acting like siblings, and it was just like really hard for them to accept that they were siblings and that they couldn't have romantic feelings for each other. And it's not that I'm not okay with having a book deal with those emotions in that kind of way, where it's like these two people had a genuine romantic connection and then found out they were siblings, and now it's difficult for them to reconcile the way that they see each other between these two opposing viewpoints. But the fact that it's in a YA series geared for younger readers, I think the glorification of incest and kind of making it like this romantic subplot is maybe not great. Maybe not great. So that was City of Ashes. Then I also read City of Glass, which, spoiler alert, if you're like me and it's 2020 and you haven't read a book series that came out in, when did this book come out? 2009. Great. Jace and Clary aren't siblings, so now they don't have to struggle to reconcile their feelings for one another. They are free to love each other. I guess that's where the next book is going to go. Also interested to see how where the next book takes our characters, because I felt like this one we got rid of our villain. Like, things kind of wrapped up, so I'm interested to see where that goes. I'm still sticking out the series. Now that we've got the Jace and Clary thing more resolved, I hope I'll be able to stomach the fourth book better. So I liked the first book in the series. The second book I really didn't like. This third one I think was fine. It was fine. We'll see what the fourth one brings me. And the last book that I read this month was Girls Burn Brighter by, kill me, Shaba Rao. In any case, this is a book about two Indian women growing up in India and the struggles that they go through as women, and their friendship ends up like they follow each other, or one of them follows the other one. I'm trying to think of a good way to describe this book. They get separated. They never forget each other. One of the friends goes to find the other friend. They leave India. There's a lot of like cross-continental. In any case, this book is really well written. The prose is beautiful. But I do have some complaints. First biggest complaint is the ending is garbage. The entire book is leading up to these two characters who were best friends as like girls and teenagers getting reunited. You just want them to get to see each other again. That's the entire point of the book. Spoiler, fast forward a little bit if you are interested in this book. The book ends right before they see each other again. I was so confused. I was like Googling. I was looking at other reviews on Goodreads. I was like counting page numbers. I was like, something has to be missing. This doesn't make any sense. Because it's not like the book kind of ended and it's like, oh, I just loved it so much. I just wish there was like more. I wanted to see more of the characters. The book ended and it's like, I have no closure because you didn't reach the climax of the story. You stopped before you got there. What else can I say? Critique about this book. I feel like there's like this trope. I don't really want to say trope, but there's like this trend. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. This trend of books and movies and stuff about Indian people in particular who, like, a child goes missing. What's that movie called? Lion, or like Slumdog Millionaires, like things like that, where the setting is India. the people are of Indian heritage, and they like get separated from their family or like friends or loved ones or whatever, and then it's like this big epic story of them like reuniting. And so to me that made the story like not that original, because it was like I've seen this story kind of play out before in the same setting. And then also along the lines of like Slumdog Millionaire, there are a lot of sequences in the book that just end up, it's just like a perfect coincidence that these girls are like in the same place, like in the right place at the right time to like find the clue that will like take them one step closer to finding each other. And that I just felt was like kind of gimmicky. It was like too easy. I don't want to say that it was too easy for them to find each other, because also that'll bring me to my next point of complaint. This book is so sad and such horrible things happen to the characters that at times it just feels like it's never going to get better. I don't know why the author is doing this. It just kind of devolves into torture porn, where just when you think things can't get any worse, they do, and like so graphically horrible that it's like, why do we need to do this? Like, why do you have to make us and your characters so miserable? Like, can you not give them any good thing? And again, like with cutting off before the characters get to even meet each other, it's like, it's not even like there was a light at the end of the tunnel. There's no resolution. Nothing, literally nothing gets better. It just ends while things are still terrible. And then my final complaint for as far as storytelling goes, the first half of the book didn't really do this, but in the second half of the book, I guess to like save time and to like get you to what is the end of the book, she kind of cuts through, like boils things down, and it's like, and for months, like this is what so-and-so did. And it's like huge chunks of time where just like, she went here, she did this, she went there, she did that, instead of like letting you go through things with the characters really, and become really involved in their story. It's just like very like matter of fact, cut and dry, like this is what happened. So those are the books that I read in June. Now that I'm looking back at it, not a great reading month. Hoping that July can be better. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.